Welcome to this month's Granny Square project, some inspiration for you. Now, I am totally in love with Granny Squares. I release a new one every month inside the Hooked on Crochet Club, so we've got a huge library of Granny Squares to choose from. So I like to try and create a new Granny Square project every month so that my members have some ideas for what to do with them, because we don't all want to be making blankets, but Granny Squares are that perfect project for just giving you something to do in the mornings. I use it as my meditation, so yeah, it's nice to turn it into something useful. So this month I have a pocket scarf. So as you can see, I've made this. I don't normally use a two-tone either. I'm very much don't like to change colors, but this one was manageable for me, so I just used some yarn in my stash. This is 100% acrylic. You could use any yarn, it's a scarf, so you'll find it with pockets though. Acrylic maybe not have been my first choice, but as I said, I was using my stash, but anything like a wool or a cotton would also be acceptable. And I was limited, so I would make this longer. So this hangs probably just to the top of my hips. So I would have liked it maybe a little bit longer so I could wrap it around my neck, but then also you don't want to be strangling yourself if you're using the pockets. So how have I made it? I have made all my squares. Now you can see I made it too wide. So you can see that's my hand. I wanted to make the pockets part. I mean, you're generally going to put your hands in your pockets as fists probably. So I wanted to make sure that it covered that. I do have child-size hands though, so just take note of the size hands that you're making the scarf for. And it might just be that you want somewhere to put your phone and your keys when you're out walking. So it's a handy place for doing that. So you could always make it narrower if that's all you wanted to put in there as well. So I've made it too wide. So each square is about 10 centimeters. So it's about 20 centimeters wide here. I've joined it with single crochet. You could do any join. Single crochet you'll find makes it that little bit stronger between the stitches. And then I've added a border around the edge as well. So when I've added the pockets, I've left it so you can see there's a back and a front. I've made them right size together so that it blends in and isn't so obvious. So if you didn't want to use the pockets, it's not so obvious. But yeah, you can change this up with any square, any color, which is why I love Granny Squares so much. So hopefully this has given you a little bit of inspiration for something that you could turn some Granny Squares into. Your imagination is your only limit. If you do love a Granny Square and you want access to a full library and hands-on direct help, then by all means you can join the Hooked on Crochet Club. But definitely subscribe for more, because there will be a new one every single month. But yeah, I'd love to know how you go if you decide to make a pocket scarf from Granny Squares.